Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something that touches practically everyone's life: relationships. Whether it's with your partner, your family, or your friends, all of us have faced conflicts and challenges in our connections. But what would you do if I told you there's an ancient philosophy capable of transforming those conflicts into opportunities for growth? I'm talking about Stoicism, a millennia-old wisdom that can save your relationship without the drama. If you want to learn how to apply this practical philosophy in your day-to-day life and strengthen your bonds, don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Shall we get started? Before diving into Stoicism, we need to understand why so many relationships suffer from conflicts. Often, arguments arise because we place unrealistic expectations on the people around us. We want them to behave exactly as we'd like, thinking and acting in ways we consider correct. But here's the truth. No one is perfect. Not you, not me, not that special person in your life. The problem begins when we don't accept this imperfection. We get frustrated, hurt, and start creating negative narratives about the other person. For example, he never listens to me, or she only thinks about herself. These stories may seem true, but often they are just projections of our own insecurities. But what if I told you there's a way to deal with this in a more balanced and rational way? This is where Stoicism comes in. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught that much of our suffering comes from trying to control what is beyond our reach. In the context of relationships, this means expecting others to act according to our desires. That's impossible. Instead, we should focus on what we can control: our own actions, thoughts, and reactions. Let's explore the central concept of Stoicism known as the dichotomy of control. Basically, it says there are two categories in life: things that are within our control and things that are not. In relationships, for example, you can't control how someone will react to your words, but you can control how you choose to express your ideas. Imagine you're upset because your partner forgot something important. Instead of emotionally exploding, try reflecting before responding. Ask yourself, is this worth discussing right now? How can I express my feelings constructively? When we change our approach, we also create space for the other person to respond better. Seneca also emphasized the importance of accepting people as they are, without trying to mold them into our image. This doesn't mean ignoring serious problems, but rather recognizing that every person has their own limitations and flaws, just like us. Remember this quote from him: "We should not judge people by their mistakes, but by the intention behind them." When we learn to look beyond superficial flaws, we begin to value more deeply the people by our side. Now that we understand some fundamental principles, let's see how to put this into practice in the real world. Here are 3 concrete strategies, inspired by Stoicism, to improve your relationships. First, practice reflective silence. Many arguments happen because we impulsively respond to provocations. A classic Stoic exercise is to pause before reacting. Count to 10, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, will this response help or harm this moment? Sometimes, silence is the most powerful response. Second, cultivate daily gratitude. Another practice recommended by Stoicism is focusing on what you appreciate about the other person. Every day, write down or reflect on a positive quality of that person. This completely changes the dynamic of the relationship because it trains your mind to see the good side. Third, set healthy boundaries. Remember that loving someone doesn't mean sacrificing your own inner peace. Set clear limits on what you accept and what you don't tolerate. This isn't selfishness, it's self-compassion. So how do you apply all of this during a real conflict? First, remember that intense emotions are normal, but they don't have to define your actions. Use these simple steps. Acknowledge your emotions. Don't ignore them, but don't let them dominate either. Breathe and assess the situation. Ask yourself, what really matters here? And finally, communicate. Calmly speak assertively, avoiding accusations. When you act based on reason and self-control, others tend to mirror that behavior. And even if they don't respond immediately, you'll still be fostering a more harmonious environment. Now that we've explored Stoicism as a powerful tool, let's reflect on how this philosophy can be applied to different types of relationships. Family relationships, for example, often carry deep emotional baggage. Maybe you grew up hearing constant criticism or feeling pressured to meet unrealistic expectations. Stoicism teaches us to handle these situations by recognizing that the words and actions of others are reflections of their own internal struggles, not definitive judgments about who you are. By developing this perspective, we can start responding with compassion instead of resentment. In friendships, another crucial area of life, Stoicism also offers valuable insights. Many friendships suffer when one side feels neglected or overwhelmed by the other's demands. Here, the practice of self-compassion comes into play. By setting clear boundaries, you protect your energy without compromising the bond. Additionally, remember that cultivating true friendships requires mutual effort. A practical exercise is to set aside time to express genuine appreciation, reminding your friends that they are valued, something Stoicism emphasizes as part of living a meaningful life. When we talk about romantic relationships, Stoic wisdom can be especially transformative. Often we project our ideals onto our partner, expecting them to fill all the emotional gaps we feel. This creates unnecessary pressure and eventually frustration. Instead, Seneca suggests that we should seek virtue in the other person, focusing on qualities like kindness, patience, and integrity. By doing this, we strengthen love not just based on selfish needs, but on mutual admiration and deep respect. Another fascinating aspect of Stoicism is how it helps us deal with loss and farewells. Whether it's the end of a relationship or the physical distance from a dear friend, these transitions can be devastating. However, the Stoics remind us that everything in life is transient. Instead of resisting change, we can embrace it as a natural part of growth. Reflect on what each connection brought to your journey and use that learning to evolve. This mindset transforms pain into strength, allowing you to move forward with lightness. In the workplace, interpersonal conflicts are also inevitable. We arrive late to an important meeting and get criticized. Someone takes credit for our project. Or perhaps we struggle to collaborate with unmotivated colleagues. In these moments, Stoicism guides us to focus on what truly matters, our personal responsibility. Ask yourself, how can I contribute positively to this situation? This proactive attitude, combined with the practice of separating facts from emotions, makes the professional environment healthier and more productive. Moreover, Stoicism teaches us the importance of continuous introspection. Often, we carry our grievances and frustrations into new relationships, repeating harmful patterns. To avoid this, dedicate a few minutes daily to reflect on your recent thoughts and behaviors. Ask yourself, am I acting fairly and compassionately toward others? Or am I allowing old habits to control me? This simple practice, called the examination of conscience, is a central pillar of Stoic philosophy and can accelerate your emotional growth. Finally, it's worth noting that Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions, but about managing them wisely. All of us have moments of anger, sadness, or anxiety, and that's okay. What Stoicism proposes is that these emotions shouldn't dictate our choices. When you train your mind to observe before reacting, you create space for more conscious decisions. This skill not only improves your relationships but also enriches your overall life experience. We've reached the end of this video, but I hope you've realized just how powerful Stoicism can be in transforming your relationships. Remember, conflicts are part of life, but the way we handle them defines the quality of our connections. If you like these tips and want to keep learning about self-help and self-awareness, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Also, share this video with someone who needs to hear these lessons today. Together we can create healthier and more meaningful relationships. So, where do you start today? Choose one simple practice mentioned here, whether it's reflective, silence, daily gratitude, or setting healthy boundaries, and try it out for the next week. Small, consistent steps can lead to big changes over time. Remember, Stoicism isn't an instant magical solution, but a journey of self-awareness and continuous growth. And now I want to know, which of these strategies do you plan to put into practice first? Share in the comments below. Until next time.